So let me just say, if you or any piece of you feels triggered by anything that I'm saying, consider that just like a little red flag within your body telling you that there's something more that needs to be worked on within yourself. Some people, maybe even most people, a lot of people are probably going to get triggered by this video. When you're ready to hear these things, you'll know when you're ready to hear these things because you won't get triggered. So if you take anything that I say in this video personally, that has nothing to do with me and everything to do with a little something you need to heal within yourself. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some recovery advice that I have now that I'm 5.5+ years into recovery from my 17-year heroin addiction, in and out of jails, detoxes, hospitalizations, countless infections, almost losing limbs. I have a 10+ page criminal record. I'm a felon. And then at the end of that 17-year heroin addiction, I lost both of my parents within a 3-month period of time. I'm not saying I have the worst story in the world, but it's pretty bad. Trust me, I kind of know what I'm talking about. So if someone came to me and said, give it to me straight, Ange, give me some recovery advice that I need to hear. I might not want to hear it, but I need to hear it. And don't worry about hurting my feelings. This is what I'd say to you. The first thing, grow up. Put on your big girl pants, put on your big boy pants, and grow up. It's time to be a responsible adult. Wouldn't you say? One of the things that kept me in the cycle of insanity and chaos of my active heroin addiction was the fact that I didn't want to grow up. I didn't want to be responsible. I knew all the things that recovery entailed. I knew all the things that I was going to have to do if I wanted to change my life. And what it all came down to was I just didn't want to frickin' do it. I didn't want to do any of it. Instead, I just kept getting high. It sounded too hard. It sounded like a lot of work. It sounded like a lot. And in my active addiction, all I had to worry about was the next bag. All I had to worry about was the next high. In my active addiction, I had literally one thing to worry about, was getting high. That was it. And changing meant that I was going to have to be responsible and worry about more than one thing at a time. And that sounded like a lot. So just grow up. It's time to grow up. Which brings me to the next thing, which is get over yourself. The world, shocker, does not revolve around you. I know. Maybe you need to sit down for this one, but I hate to break it to you, but the world doesn't revolve around you. And I'd be willing to bet that you do not have the absolute worst scenario of everybody in the entire world that you're going through right now. I'd be willing to bet that your story is not the absolute worst in the entire world. And I'd be willing to bet that there's so many more people who have it worse off than you do. A lot of times in active addiction, I know for me, my ego was so big, I expected everybody else's world to stop when I was having a bad time. And I just couldn't understand why everybody else just kept living and didn't really care much about what I was doing or how awful my life was. Newsflash, everybody has their own shit that they're going through. And all I did was just complain and complain and complain, and I didn't do anything about it. So just stop complaining. Nobody wants to hear you complain, especially people who are also going through their own shit. I'm at the point now where it's if there's anybody around me complaining, if you come to me and you bring that energy into my space, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am walking away from you. I am setting a boundary, and I'm probably not going to talk to you because I don't want to hear it. And I'm not going to say it's easy because I know it's not easy. But once I started becoming aware, it's almost like I was in this dissociative state, listening to myself complain all the time. When I started realizing, when I started becoming aware of all of these things about myself, because listen, I didn't want to hear any of these things when I was strung out. I didn't want to hear what I'm saying today. I didn't want to hear any of it. I was a victim. It was everybody else's fault. I had the worst case scenario of everybody that I knew, like the world would definitely revolved around me. I didn't want to hear any of these things. But once I became ready and willing to work on myself, my awareness started to increase, my self-awareness. I started to realize how negative I was being. And I was like dissociatively listening to myself complain all the time and giving myself the ick. I don't want to hear your sad stories. They don't want to hear your sad stories. Nobody wants to hear your sad stories. And the more you repeat these stories, the more you're going to relive these stories. Stop continuing the cycle of misery that you're engaging in. Because, listen, if there's one thing I've learned over this whole journey and it's an entire lifetime of this, is that nothing happens without our own permission. I mean, granted, there are certain circumstances that happen and traumas in our lives that happen without our own permission, but what we do and how we react to life and the choices that we make and the situations we find ourselves in, none of that happens without your own permission. So just start taking accountability, stop complaining, and start doing something about it. Look at, you have all of these people on social media, in meetings, or just in the recovery and healing space that are showing you what to do and telling you that it's possible. So don't sit here and tell me and don't come at me with the whole, oh, but this is so bad and I wish you only knew and my story's so bad, and giving me all these excuses as to why you can't get better, because I'm not hearing any of it. I've been there. I am you, I was you, and I'm sitting here today telling you that you can choose better for yourself. You can do something about it. Which brings me to my next thing, which is what you're not changing, you are in fact choosing. Wild, mind blowing. I know. And a lot of people are definitely not ready to hear this one, because here come the excuses. Well, I don't have a choice. How can I choose? I don't have a choice to do this. I don't have a choice to do this because this is so bad and this is so bad, and explaining away their circumstances. But let me tell you, there's a choice in everything. It might not feel like it, and I guarantee you it's not easy. Making a choice, a new and different choice, is hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's possible. Like for me, I chose to continue getting high. I could have made a different choice. I could have chose to not get high, but that would have meant that I had to get sick. That would have meant that I had to start working on myself. That would have meant that I would feel like shit for like 3 months. That would have meant going into a program. That would have meant that I had to do all of these things that I didn't want to do. Hard things that I didn't want to do. But I did have the choice. And I continued to choose the easy thing, the familiar thing. I chose to get high over and over and over again for 17 straight years because it was familiar. It was my comfort zone. It was what I knew how to do. And making any kind of different choice meant that I would have had to step outside of that. And I wasn't willing to do that yet until I was. Another thing I would tell you, if I wasn't afraid to hurt your feelings, would be that your closest friends and maybe even family members are not going to support you. A lot of people don't know how to support, but in the same vein, you're probably not going to get it, period. And you kind of have to come to terms with that. And especially the people who you were around during your active addiction, the people who you either got high with or you partied with. I mean, those people for sure are not going to support you. They're, in fact, probably going to be jealous because you doing better for yourself and choosing yourself only mirrors to them what they're not doing for themselves. So don't expect everyone to celebrate you. Sometimes, listen. I know it's the little things. For me, it's the little things. And it's always been the little things because I went years without taking care of myself, not choosing myself, not showering, not sleeping, not eating, not cleaning, not doing laundry. So doing those things, even today, 5.5+ years into recovery, every time I do laundry and I like put clean sheets on my bed, which, is the best feeling. And I had to celebrate my own wins. Something you have to learn how to do is to celebrate yourself. You have to become your biggest supporter without expecting it from other people. If it happens, sure, that's great. And that's why AA and 12-step meetings are amazing, because you're surrounded by people who truly understand what you're going through. So in a lot of ways, this work and recovery can feel very isolating, and it can get lonely. And that's why, like I said, AA and 12-step meetings are great. Provides you a whole community of people who know what you're going through and will celebrate you. But on the flip side, sometimes I get annoyed when people want to celebrate like the littlest things, because a part of me is like, I'm just living like a normal life. Like, I'm just being a responsible adult. I'm a big girl age. I'm 45. So it's like, why are you celebrating the fact that I took a shower today? Like, most people just know how to do that. Most people do that on a regular basis, and it's like a habit for them, right? So there's a piece of me that kind of cringes. This is why I don't count days. And even though, yes, there was a time when I couldn't even go a whole day, I couldn't go an hour, I couldn't go 2 hours without getting sick and getting high. But I never found satisfaction in counting days. It wasn't really something that I connected with. Some people love doing that. It helps a lot of people to count the days because it gives them that little extra boost of confidence. But me, it's like I only like to count the big, huge milestones like years, right? I know my date, November 9th, 2019 was the last day I used heroin. I know that date. I don't know the other dates because I didn't stop everything all at once. For booze and coke and benzos, I kept using those on and off after I stopped using dope. But I know for a fact it's been since 2021. So it's been at least 4 years for booze. For benzos, I think it's been 5 years, 2020. And for coke, I think it's been 4 years. But I don't know the dates. But heroin for me was like obviously the biggest, most life-threatening issue and problem that I couldn't step away from. So I know that date. But the whole point of this is to say, don't expect the world to celebrate you. Don't expect anything from anybody. Learn how to celebrate yourself, because you are the only one that's going to be with you forever, every day, 24 hours a day, every second of every day. You have to learn to celebrate yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Stop giving yourself a hard time. You have to learn to give yourself grace, to like yourself. It's hard to do. It's hard to do. And you just got to get used to doing all the things that you don't want to do. You got to get used to doing things that you're scared of doing. I guarantee you that you're not going to ever feel ready to do much of anything. I guarantee you life is just going to feel like you're just doing all the things you don't want to do all the time. I still struggle and fight with myself. Like, I got to do laundry. I don't want to freaking do laundry. I don't want to do laundry. Sometimes I don't want to take a shower. I don't want to take a shower. I don't want to clean. I don't want to go groceries. I don't want to do the things that I know I have to do. I don't want to make videos. I don't want to make videos. A lot of times I don't want to freaking do it. But I know that I'm going to feel better afterwards. You just got to get used to doing the things that you don't want to do and doing it scared. You got to get used to doing all the things scared, because I promise you that everything you want, that life that you want, whatever you want, is on the other side of that fear. I guarantee you, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And if you don't do it scared, and if you don't do it because you don't want to do it, then nothing changes, and you're never, ever, ever going to get any better, and you're never going to get the life that you want. I mean, it's science. Just stop being lazy. And I know you don't want to hear that either. Because listen, and I think about this all the time. The last thing I was when I was a junkie was lazy. I mean, I was on the go all the time, all day long. From the moment I woke up to the moment I fell asleep or nodded out, I was on the go, go, go. I was hustling for money. I was copping dope. I was meeting my dude. I was waiting for my dude. I was driving around. I was literally always on the go. It's like I had all the energy in the world. I would do it sick. I would do it tired. I did it all day long, every single day for 17 years. I didn't care what obstacles I came over. If I didn't have any money, I would get money somehow. If I didn't have what I needed, I would get what I needed. I literally would not stop until I had what I needed. That determination was just wild. To think that I was that determined to get high every single day for 17 years. And now it's like, I don't even have the energy to like walk my dog sometimes. I don't even have the energy to make my bed. I don't even have the energy to do a dish. Like, where did that energy go? So it's like, I know that you can do it. This is how I know you can do it, because the hustler in you, the alcoholic, the drug addict, the person who is addicted to a substance, that person that is inside of you was determined as hell to get what you needed. So tell me why you're not that determined to change it all around. I'll tell you why. Because you don't like yourself. And that's the last thing I'm going to say today. If I wasn't scared of hurting your feelings, I would tell you that you just don't like yourself. You, in fact, hate yourself. You don't think you're worthy of a new life. You don't think that you're capable of changing anything. Your self-worth sucks. And in order to get to the other side, you're going to have to admit that and figure out why. I remember back 20 plus years ago when I first started going to AA. And I knew I wasn't done, right? I was sober from booze and coke only. This was before my heroin days. And I remember sitting in a meeting one day. And it was actually my home group one night. And I was sitting and I was listening to someone speak from the podium, and they were talking about how fear, because we all get up from the podium. I'm not in AA now, but if you've been to a meeting, people stand up at the podium and they talk about how scared, I lived in fear and fear held me back and all the things like around fear. And I sat in that meeting and I remember this, literally thought to myself, well, I don't know what this guy, like I couldn't relate. I couldn't relate. I was like, I don't know what this guy's talking about. I'm not scared of anything. I literally thought that I wasn't scared of anything. I had no idea that I was living in fear. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're not ready to hear these things until you're ready to hear these things. I didn't know what I didn't know. I had no idea how low and little I thought of myself. I had zero idea how much I actually hated myself. I didn't know that my self-worth was so lacking. Like, I really didn't. But my actions said otherwise. I would go on to treat myself like a pincushion, stick myself with needles 1,000,000 times a day, cause countless dozens of infections, almost losing limbs. I've almost lost 3 separate limbs because of infections, and I didn't care. I've overdosed multiple times, and I never cared. It was all just because I didn't care about myself. I didn't like myself. I certainly didn't prioritize myself. I certainly didn't think I was worthy of taking care of. And once I realized how important it is to like myself, and how the not showering and the not doing laundry and the living in filth and the sticking myself, once I truly understood that all of those things meant that my self-worth was like so low, it hit me like, oh my God, I never realized how awful my self-worth was. So maybe I'll save you some time, but figure it out. Figure it out. I guarantee you that that is a root cause of why you continue putting yourself last and choosing everything and everyone else before yourself. Sorry, not sorry. So let me know in the comments if you resonated with anything that I just said. Did you take any of it personally? Do you hate me now? I mean, listen. This actually goes very well with this video, and I just thought of this. I didn't even plan on saying this, but I literally just remembered this. I found a text message, an old text message in my messages in my phone from years ago. I think it was from 2019. No, it was from 2018 because I remember I was working for my dealer at the time. I had the same dealers for years. So like I genuinely thought we were friends because like literally my dealers were the only people, my dealers and my dad were the only people I talked to every single day for 17 straight years. And so I had the same dealers pretty much for years, long-term periods of time. So I was working for my dealer for a while at the end of my addiction. And I was working as one of his drivers. And he was like paying me in dope, right? But I woke up one day and decided that I was going to put my foot down. I was going to put my foot down and demand to get paid for like somehow. I mean, he was paying for my gas and like his business. He was just starting his business up again. And I offered to help him out. But my ego woke up one day and was like, he should pay me. Like he was giving, whatever. I found messages in my phone of him saying, you know, you got to grow up, Ange. You act like a 15-year-old. And if I remember, I'm going to put them in the video because I screenshotted them because I plan on making a post about it on my Instagram, and I'll post them here in the community tab. And I don't remember verbatim what he said, but he was like, you know what, Ange, it's time you grow up. Like you act like a 15-year-old. And this was a dope dealer. My dope dealer was trying to teach me and school me on growing up. I was 38. Yeah, I was 38 in 2018 and acting like a 15-year-old. But I wasn't, you know what my response to that was? To fight him. I went on. I was a menace. I was constantly fighting with my dealers. I was constantly screaming at them because I thought that I could. I had a right to because I was whatever. I was delusional, okay? But I didn't know. I wasn't ready to hear it back then. The more you hear it and the sooner you recognize and admit these things, the sooner you can come out on the other side. Because true growth and healing and recovery doesn't happen until you realize these things. So with that, I think that's all I have to say. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you in the next video. This is annoying. And I know that I holding this. I know that I held my other one too with the wire, but this one's just annoying. Like I can't let it go. This is annoying. I'm gonna have to try to find a cheap microphone on Amazon. Testing. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is that a millennial thing? Remember those commercials? Can you hear me now? What was that for, Verizon or T-Mobile? Whatever happened to that dude? Was that the same dude as Subway? Let me check this.